I decided to undertake a momentous task. We're about to hit 1,000 subscribers, and to celebrate, I decided to dedicate an entire day to making this video. Today, we are going to try and beat the Pikmin 4 demo while using as few Pikmin as possible. Hello everybody, you're watching Variety Television, and welcome to my first Pikmin 4 challenge video. Before we get started, I want to say a massive thank you to you all. I would not be standing here saying anything about 1,000 subscribers if it wasn't for the support from all you amazing people. I plan on posting another video when we officially hit 1,000, so keep an eye out for that. Without any further ado, let's get into the challenge. For the first section with Olimar and Moss, it's actually very easy to clear. Smashing these pots is required and the game forces 5 Pikmin on you. I made a beeline for the quote-unquote boss of this area. If you angle this rush just right, I'm pretty sure you can sneak past these 2 blue Pikmin, but I accidentally picked up 1. You don't have to keep them though, and they don't roll over into the main part, so I'll just throw them to the side and not count them. Taking out the first enemy is really easy as it can't actually damage you. After we take it out, we're able to make our character and start the challenge for real. On the first day of our journey, we get Oatchi, Colin, and Shepard back to the main area. This first day of our journey is one of the first and only times that we'll ever actually need to use Pikmin. The only reason we have to is because you must collect 300 Sparklium to continue, and Oatchi can't carry much weight on his own yet. With a carry weight of 3, we are required to grow 7 Pikmin to clear this area, bringing our grand total to 7 Pikmin grown. With the SS Shepard being functional once again, we are able to start day 2. We set out for our first adventure through the sun-speckled terrace. We're going to be spending many days here, so get used to seeing this place. I set Oatchi collecting these building materials right at the start and made my way to the dirt wall. The reason for this was to get into a fist fight with this little Bulborb. Oatchi could fight it for me, but I want to try and reserve his health for when I'll really need it. After beating this poor Bulborb senseless, I used Oatchi to charge down the dirt wall. Since having items for Oatchi is going to be a major part of this run, we need to save Russ, so I decided to go ahead and jump into the last Frost cave. This cave is pretty easy, but we aren't able to collect any of the treasures yet, as Oatchi still isn't strong enough. Getting through this cave requires the use of Ice Pikmin, so Oatchi takes on the Icy Blowhog to grab the 5 Ice Pikmin. This is another easy fight, although Oatchi can get frozen, he doesn't actually take any damage from this enemy. I use the Ice Pikmin to break this jelly blob, and Oatchi drags Russ home. After that, I use the advantage of cave time to collect as many building materials as possible. Now, I could have collected the building materials a lot faster and even got some treasures from this cave with the help of those 5 Ice Pikmin, but the goal here is to use Pikmin only when absolutely necessary, so with Russ saved, we head back to the surface. I know that building materials are going to be the most grindy part of this run, so I spend the rest of the day letting Oatchi run back and forth collecting them one at a time. While he's doing that, I get into another fist fight, but this time with the fiery Blowhog guarding the rugged scaffold base area. By the end of day 2, Oatchi had collected Russ, 6 Sparklium from cave enemies, 43 building materials, and a grand total of 12 Pikmin grown/collected. Day 3 starts with Oatchi finally growing up, giving us access to training and equipment. Using the 3 pup drives we've got so far, I upgrade Oatchi's carry strength to 5 and increase his attack damage. I head back to the terrace and jump back into the last Frost cave to collect 1 more treasure, bringing us to 386 Sparklium. We pop back out to the surface and collect some more treasures. I let Oatchi get into a fight with this big Bulborb, which almost gets him defeated, but we managed to take it out. Next, we jump into the Hectic Hollows cave. I really didn't think this one through though, and made a massive mistake. The very first floor of this cave has a wall that for 1 takes Oatchi forever to build, and for 2, Oatchi can't climb it. This forces us to collect the 10 Ice Pikmin here and use them to push down the bag, which I do. Then I attempt to drown Oatchi so he can learn to swim. On the next floor, Oatchi knocks down a castaway, and it turns out to be Schnoz from the band Sugar Ray. By the end of day 3, we have collected yet another castaway, 65 building materials, 456 sparklium, and a grand total of 22 Pikmin. I don't know if in the grand scheme of things you can avoid using more than 12 Pikmin, but if you're attempting this for yourself, maybe skip this cave unless you absolutely have to do it. At the start of day 4, we give Oatchi the next buff upgrade, allowing him to carry a weight of 10 now. This single upgrade really opens up the door for us moving forward. Up until now, I've been passing up a lot of treasures that Oatchi couldn't carry on his own, but you'd be surprised just how much treasure can be carried by 10 or less Pikmin, meaning we should be able to use just Oatchi for most of these now. Returning to the terrace, I retrieved the last treasure from Last Frost Cave and then pop back out. I walk over to this electric fence and let Oatchi get zapped. This is so we can get access to the anti-electrifier from Rust later. At this point, there's a choice to be made between getting the Scorch Guard or the anti-electrifier. While both give you a lot of options for exploration, I felt as though the anti-electrifier will help minimize Pikmin use and open up more possibilities in the future. Next, we hop into the industrial maze and let Oatchi collect tons more building materials while in cave time. After this, I hit an impasse. There isn't much more progress I can make with Oatchi having no immunities, so that means it's almost time to grind some building materials. So we pop back out of the cave and spend the rest of this day collecting treasures. We end day 4 with 81 building material and 1096 sparklium, putting the sun-speckled terrace at 23% completion. We haven't needed any other Pikmin yet, so our total is still 22, with 12 seeming like the minimum possible number. The entirety of day 5 is spent grinding building materials, and Oatchi manages to bring the total up to 96. That's literally all we did that day, and unfortunately it is not enough for the anti-electrifier, meaning we'll have to go back another day just to get 4 building materials. Day 6 consists of going to the terrace, collecting 4 building materials, and then ending the day. There's nothing else I can really do yet without the anti-electrifier, so it is what it is. At the start of day 7, I'm finally able to buy the anti-electrifier, and we launch back into the sun-speckled terrace. The first goal is to head to the industrial maze and collect the train. This is very important. I rushed these jars over here to try and see if I could get this castaway, which led to me accidentally adding 1 yellow Pikmin to the count, bringing our total now to 23, with a minimum of 12 still seeming possible. Back on the surface, we smashed this electric gate, and then I used the leashing on this Bulborb to outsmart and easily defeat it, allowing us to move our base to the meandering slope. We then defeat the Bulborb at the top of this hill in a similar fashion for no reason whatsoever, and then we spend the rest of the day grinding building materials once again. This time it's because I have 0, and I need to construct a bridge to move forward. I can use the bridge that requires 23, but the only things over there are a Dandori battle with Olimar, which requires Pikmin, and a pumpkin that also requires Pikmin. The other bridge needs 39 pieces to construct, but will access more possibilities for us to explore. Day 7 ended with 1,226 sparklium and 19 building materials. On day 8, we head to the Crackling Cauldron, mainly because I forgot about it until now and wanted to check it for treasures. The first floor was simple enough. We smash open this electric gate, collected some treasures and fallen enemies. The next floor was significantly hotter, and we just weren't ready for this area. So while on Oatchi's back, we jumped over this magma puddle and exited the cave. The rest of the day was spent collecting more building materials. Eventually, the day ended with us having collected 38 building materials and 1,356 sparklium. On day 9, I moved the base back to the rugged scaffold and started construction on the bridge. Collecting building materials and doing construction projects have been the absolute most time-consuming part of this run so far, but it has taken a very long time. From here, Oatchi can get 16 building materials to the bridge per day, so we had 16 done by the end of day 9. All of day 10 was spent building the bridge, but we now have 32 out of the 39 pieces built. Day 11 started very similarly to the last 2 days with building the bridge. About halfway through the day, the bridge was finished and we could finally make progress once again. With a new path forged forward, we ran to the next cave excitedly. The next cave really screwed me over though. The aquiferous summit starts with a body of water that needs to be frozen. I didn't think about this and purchase ice bombs beforehand, so once again I was forced to collect Pikmin. This time it was 10 required to advance, bringing us to a new total of 33 Pikmin. Again, I'm still pretty sure 12 is possible. On the second floor I was still unprepared and needed fire resistance as well. I still had the 10 ice Pikmin from the first floor, and there was a red candy pop bud down here too. Rather than make more Pikmin or convert a group of 5, I converted 1 ice Pikmin into 1 red Pikmin, and used it to clear the fire. It would have been faster with more, but the goal is keeping Pikmin use to a minimum. After another eternity was spent collecting golden nuggets, I was forced once again to use the small group of ice Pikmin I had. There was a wall that needed to be built, and I didn't bring enough building materials. I knew these caves always give you what you need, so I used 1 ice Pikmin to break the first jelly glob and search for building materials. Unfortunately, it contained 5 ice Pikmin, and I accidentally added 3 to the count. So now we're at 36 out of a seemingly possible 12. This cave got us very close to our end goal. We moved the base to the very top of this hill, and with 1,456 sparklium, I headed for this enemy, hoping it held the last treasure we needed. I ran out of time though and had to give up. The end of our journey was finally in sight, and the possibility of actually finishing this was becoming real. I ran for the enemy near our base and began to charge. In a full circle moment, our player character in Oatchi soloed this beast, much like Olimar and Moss at the very beginning. The only difference was this one could deal real damage. With the beast defeated, Oatchi and I carried the last treasure home. At least, I thought it was the last treasure, but it was worth only 40 sparklium, bringing us to 1,496. 4 sparklium away from victory. Feeling defeated and as though I had no other options, I began my sad descent down this hill. I decided to take the flower pots as a shortcut, as maybe I could find an enemy in a cave I could collect and make up the last 4 sparklium. But that's when I saw it. Buried right there in a flower pot was a beautiful, glistening, outstanding, amazing, and all-around wonderful peanut. This was the greatest peanut I'd ever seen in my life. This peanut, more than anything, represented the end of a journey that lasted over 4 hours. This peanut represented victory, because with this peanut, we had collected 1,526 sparklium. The end of our journey was reached on day 12. We had 1,526 sparklium and had used and or collected a grand total of 36 Pikmin. I truly believe that with proper planning and more patience, this can be completed while using only 12 Pikmin. This video is a lot different than what I usually make, but it was still a lot of fun to make and very interesting for me to do. I'd like to do more of these, but it was a lot of work and I'm not sure if you all will even like these challenge videos. But if you do, leave some ideas for future challenges down below, and show YouTube you enjoyed this by leaving a like and making sure you're subscribed. Thank you so much for watching to this point, and that's all I've got for this one, but stay tuned. Variety Television will be right back.